One more for the game. Come, sit.
You have passed the 13 gates. And you come to my table to play the game of life and death. Your stake is wagered. I refuse none who come here. Yet, I say, turn back.
Hi guys, it's C&NOnline, and this time we're reviewing Hand of Fate. So, what is Hand of Fate? Well, it's an action role-playing game with role-playing and deck-building elements involved. You play as a nameless hero that meets a strange dealer, who takes the player through his adventure via narrative, whilst also dealing the cards for the player and providing you with rewards.
At the start of the game, the player is given a deck of cards. This is your starter deck. This consists of equipment that the player can use on themselves as well as encounter cards, which progress the player by presenting them with a chance event, combat event, both of the previous, or a decision. Once you get going on your journey, you can earn more cards, which then allows you to customize your own deck to your own liking. Just a reminder though that the decks do have fixed card limits and are set at a certain number. While you have your deck, the dealer also has his own, from which he can draw encounter cards and monster cards. The player can also get these as well and add them to their own deck. There are two different modes in this game, Story Mode and Endless Mode. Story Mode consists of the player having to defeat 12 bosses that the dealer has you face. The player must defeat these 12 bosses in the order the dealer gives them, but they can play against them again after completing to possibly earn better rewards and more items for their deck. How do you get to the bosses, you might ask? It's simple. The player must complete 2 or more levels that the dealer creates with face down cards. These cards will be a mixture of cards from your deck and the dealer's deck. The level also includes either an exit encounter that lets the player go to the next level or the boss encounter card. You will also notice when playing the game that you have a limited amount of health, food and initial equipment from their deck. When playing the game, you move a token across the face down cards one at a time, and when you land on a card it is revealed to you. While this is happening, the dealer will narrate the event to you. Then it's up to the player to decide what to do with each card that is flipped.
Some of the cards will allow you to meet helpful non-playable characters, shops, etc. that benefit the player on their journey to the boss encounter, though sadly these are not kept afterwards. On top of these, you might be unfortunate to stumble upon enemy encounters. The cool thing about this though is there are enemy encounters where you can choose who you want to face. Some of the other event cards include options that the player themselves must choose wisely. They will have a chance of trying to select from a hand of success and failure rate cards, which make your journey that bit more adventurous and exciting. As a heads up though, every time you move, it consumes food, and certain events can cause you to either gain or lose health, food, and gold. Most encounters will reward the player with equipment, which you obtain via your own equipment deck. This can give you the helping hand you might need to either strengthen your defense against a tough enemy, or give you that all-important weapon that will cut down your foes. When coming in contact with a monster card, the number of enemies and type are determined by the cards drawn by the dealer. The awesome part about this game is when you enter battles, the whole thing turns into a third-person action mode, where you can control your character's moves. So this isn't narrated, you do have to fight your way out of there. Damage will be taken by you of course if you're hit, and once you have won the fight it will show you how much you've taken. If you didn't lose health then, it's all good, but if you did, you better hope that one of the shop cards are nearby, or a chance card to try and get your health back. The only problem we had with the combat was that sometimes it was too crowded for the areas you're fighting in, and it can be a bit buggy sometimes. Though, other than that, this feature really makes this game stand out, and makes you want more of the monster encounters. The third person mode doesn't stop there though. There is also more encounter types which activate mini-games where you have to travel through trap-filled mazes to get the rewards waiting for you at the end.
Some encounters when complete, the dealer will present you with a special token. These special tokens represent endgame rewards that the player can win, but that's only if they can get through the rest of the level and beat the big bad boss at the end. If you lose all the health in battle, or in an encounter, or lose all your food, all that hard work and rewards earned are lost. However, if you manage to tackle everything that the dealer has to throw at you, and beat the boss at the end, then the tokens and rewards you have earned through sweat, blood and tears will be turned into cards that can become part of your arsenal for future battles against the dealer and his terrible 12. As you progress through the 12 bosses, they will get harder and even more challenging. This is where your deck building skills need to come into play. You need to make sure that the deck is built just right and has everything you need for whatever the dealer throws at you, but of course there is a bit of luck thrown in there as well, so you can always count on that. So you better hope that the right cards come up at the right time. You might be one of them people that thinks, wait a minute, only 12 bosses, that's quite sure. Not only can you replay the bosses like we said before, but there is also an endless mode that is included in the game.
Endless mode allows the player to keep exploring further levels, but this is based on how long it can last. It plays out the same as the story mode in the sense of gameplay, but the game won't stop until your character dies, so you can keep going at the dealer like a pro until your last breath, which can be very quick or a long and cruel road. Encounters become more difficult as you progress in this mode though. Additionally, at the start of the match the player can select a special class that modifies starting hit points and food, and the difficulty of the monsters that you'll encounter during your journey. But keep this in mind, not all classes are available from the beginning, but can be unlocked by completing certain goals, so this game is literally full of hours of gameplay and has a ton of replayability. Sometimes though when playing you might come across the same cards and the same scenarios, but the more cards you get when you play, the less this will occur. Though when this does occur, the game does feel quite repetitive, though it has other features which help in making it feel new every single time. The game looks very nice both in tabletop view and third person. When in tabletop view you really feel as if you're against the dealer, then when you go into combat it makes you feel as if you yourself are being dragged into the world and trying to fend for yourself. The game has nice level design and the scenery is really good too. The only problem with this is some of the levels though is that they can feel very compacted, though other than this they're very enjoyable and it's a really nice experience.
Now on to the positives and negatives. Positives. A very well done top-down role-playing card game that has very good combat system to help the game's experience. Lots of different cards to make every level feel different and new, and fully engaging and entertaining. The negatives can feel repetitive every now and then. Sometimes it can feel the difficulty level is a bit too hard, but that's only us, and feels buggy in combat every now and then.
Hand of Fate is really enjoyable, and for the price of $18.99 you can't really complain because you get a ton of gameplay hours and more. Not only does it play the whole role-playing style well, it mixes in tabletop card play and third-person combat. With this mix of features, it makes playing Hand of Fate an extremely fun game, playing over and over. It's definitely one to pick up if you're into Dungeons & Dragons or role-playing games in general. For these reasons, we're happy to give Hand of Fate a C&N score of 4 out of 5.
Thanks for watching guys, feel free to leave comments down below and make sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. This is C&NOnline signing off.
Now you come to my table to play the game of life and death. You will need your wits, your strength, your skills, sorcery and power if you hope to challenge me.